Warda, you are just an amazing part of our company. And you help out one of my good friends, Scott, with his business and company. Scott Ricks is actually building my house, and I know he raves about you whenever we talk. We need to get a testimonial video from Scott talking about you.
Good luck with that, Troy.
I know. Did you know you knew we were in Nashville, right?
Yes, I do. You sent me a picture, and then I noticed that Scott had also sent me a picture on Ring Central, but I'd missed that. So I told him that he looked good. I told you to tell him that he looked good.
Yep, we did do that.
Yeah.
So Verda, tell me about yourself. How did you find Savvital? And we'd love to hear your story and everything about you.
Absolutely. So, I found Savvital a little more than a year ago. I think it's almost a year and a half now. I was working as a career counselor at this university previously, and it was a bit monotonous to say the least. It was just me giving a lot of advice to a lot of students who didn't really pay heed to my advice. So I was like, I want to do something more interesting and honestly just have a more exciting culture to work in. That was something really important to me. Thankfully, I have Neha, who is my best friend since I can't even remember when, working at Savvital, and she told me about it, and she said, there are a lot of opportunities here as well. So I then applied to Savvital. I was interviewed, and then I got a call back. I joined Savvital, and I haven't looked back since. It's been amazing. There's been a lot of growth. A lot of new people have come in. As you've seen, I mean, you've seen it all happen. You've been the one to do it, Troy. You've done a tremendous job.
Oh, thank you.
And all of the managers. I mean, you guys have been amazing. You guys are the reason why I'm still here.
Well, you're the reason that we're here too. It's very symbiotic, because if it wasn't for people helping our clients, we would have no company. And now, Verda, you've done such a great job at Savvital and helping Scott that you actually have a management role too now with the company, correct?
Yes.
So,
I am. Yeah.
so what is that role? What does that role entail?
So I am now an HR specialist. I think I became an HR specialist in January, which was when we have our quarterly evaluations. I'm very grateful. Uzair, who's my manager, he was able to pitch me for the position, as well as I went through a very rigorous process of applying for it as well. And it does entail a lot of communication with people, which I love. I mean, that's something that I've always wanted to do, communicate with people, be able to help them out in whatever capacity I can. So the great thing about being an HR specialist is that whether you like it or not, you're going to be interacting with everybody at the company. So I've enjoyed it tremendously, and I hope the managers and you all feel that I've been able to contribute in whatever capacity, um, in some
Oh,
way, for the company.
oh yeah, absolutely. You're amazing. I can't wait to meet you. I'm coming out there in about a
You
month. I don't
are.
know. You know that?
I had no idea. That's awesome. I have to be there in Islamabad when you come.
Yeah, because you're one of the few that doesn't get a chance to get into the office very much, right?
Yeah, and that's the perfect reason to be there. So please, I
Yeah,
am
no
gonna
doubt.
have Mo give me a heads up when you're coming.
I will. Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. But Verda, that the majority of our clients are in the insurance industry. Um, your client, however, is in the construction industry, and I think it'd be good and educational for our listeners to know what kind of things you do for Scott and his company, because they're growing like crazy too, just like Savvital, and
Yeah.
let us know how you're helping him out.
Yeah. So, honestly, I can't say much about the insurance industry, but what I have experienced with Scott, working with a client in the construction industry, they have a lot on their plate, and that, I mean, that's an understatement. They have so much on their plate. If you ever check Scott's inbox, it's crazy. Okay, he has so much on his plate. Sometimes I check out his inbox and I'm like, this is overwhelming. I don't know how he does so much in one day. So to be able to help out in any capacity is like a huge achievement for me. Like, even if I'm able to help him with something very small, I'm like, that's one thing off his plate because he has so much going on.
Mhm.
As a contractor, you're taking care of so many projects. You have so many salesmen working under you who are taking care of different projects. So many people, so many of those salesmen are following different leads, trying to convert them into jobs. You have all of these expense sheets, you have all of these estimates that you're taking care of, each for every different project that you're doing, which are hundreds, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, for me, when I joined, and I have to really give it to Scott, he's the most patient, most understanding, and just, he doesn't really put everything on you all of a sudden. He'd like really give you the time to understand what the task is, learn it, and then do it. So if I mean, would you like me to tell you what I'm doing for him?
Yeah, I had a question, but you can obviously go whichever way it leads. One of the things you do is help the salesmen with the leads, like with Builder Trend. Is that right? Isn't that one of the softwares that you
Yeah,
help out with the company? Could you talk about that a little
absolutely.
bit?
Absolutely. So BuilderTrend is basically a construction software, which is supposed to make the construction company's life a lot easier, everybody involved in the process, because it automates everything, all of the projects, all of the information regarding those projects, all of the leads in place, whether it's a dead lead, whether it's going to go somewhere, all of that information can be put in BuilderTrend, reminders, etc. So the first thing that I do for Scott is, of course, I look for leads on social media, and that is particularly, Facebook. I go to Minnesota based pages that he has joined every other hour, looking for people reaching out for jobs that WRC can do for them, and I, actively seek them out, so that if even like two of them respond to us and reach out to us, that's like another job for Scott. So then,
That's literally thousands and thousands of dollars, and I think you've actually gotten some jobs for them, correct?
yeah,
Would
yeah, because
you mind talking about the
absolutely,
biggest
because
ones you've gotten?
absolutely. Actually, Troy, in the beginning, I felt that there was, I could do more for Scott, right? He's so great. I wanted to do something for him, and I realized that just going through the homepage was a bit monotonous. It wasn't really getting him any leads. This was the very, first initial months. And so then I decided, you know what, I'm going to do like a rigorous search on every Minnesota based page that he has joined, because that's where he mainly operates. And I'm going to reach out to, whether it's a small job someone is, in search of, or something big, a remodel, whatever it may be. I'm going to reach out to them, and I'm going to keep reaching out. And when I started doing that on a daily basis, I saw the results, right? People, even if I reached out to 15 people a day and two of them responded, those were two leads for Scott, and two leads that could possibly be converted into jobs and then projects and then money. So
Heck yeah.
yeah.
Direct correlation. And from what I remember, I thought you got like a job worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Wasn't it like a big remodel?
Yes, I
You,
have been able to get a few remodels. I can't give you a price on that. Scott probably
okay,
knows better about that.
but
Yeah,
that's great.
so
So you like give me an example of like a page, like a Facebook group, like
mhm,
Blaine, whatever, Blaine Community Neighborhoods or something
mhm.
like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there are different areas. Obviously, there's Oak Grove, there's Big Lake.
Mhm.
All of those areas, they have their own, pages where people residing in those areas reach out whenever they, want a small job done or a bigger one. So I go to each of those pages and I make sure to respond to them on behalf of Scott. So because he doesn't have the time to, right? He has so much on his plate. He can't be
Mhm.
on social media, seeking out those leads. So yeah, I do that for
Yeah.
him. And then what you asked about Builder Trend, I enter leads. If they reach out, I enter them on Builder Trend, which is the construction software we just talked about. And if Scott sends me other leads that, he gets through other mediums, I enter them on Builder Trend as well.
Okay, good deal. And you said you're in his emails too. Do you help organize the emails and unsubscribe and manage those at all?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
Troy,
huge.
it's my
Email
goal.
is such a problem for so many people, and if to have a true
Mhm,
pro like you, I'm sure
mhm.
I know Scott really appreciates that. Could you talk about what you do in the email?
Yeah, so honestly, that's my goal for now because I'll be very honest with you. In the very beginning, this was one of our major goals. Like Scott really wanted me to do something with his emails. But again, he doesn't have a lot of time, and we have to sit together. We have to sort them out, make sure that the high priority is over there. Things that he doesn't need can just go into the trash. But now for this month, actually, I've set a goal for myself to, regardless of what Scott is doing, maybe he won't even know about it. I'm going to go through those emails. I'm going to, create a list of my own, be as, proactive as I can be, because
Yes.
it overwhelms me. So I can only imagine what it's like for him. Right.
Yeah, and being proactive, I think, is a key that we train our people at Savvital to be, because sometimes the client is just too busy to even respond to your requests on what an email is. So I don't think it's bad to, for example, respond as Scott to a lot of these emails. Say we're working on it, we'll get back to you soon, kind of thing, and then follow up with Scott and say, hey, I responded. At least we're responding, right? And then
Mm,
get more information. At least that person got a response, so they know somebody's eyes are on the email. So
absolutely.
that's pretty amazing, Verda. So I got another interesting question for you. What is your passion in life?
That's an interesting question, and one that's really going to make me, go into some deep thought. Uh, Honestly, Troy, it's. I mean, if I have to put it in very vague terms, it would be to be able to connect with people and help them as a result.
Mhm.
So whatever that may be, I think I'm doing that in a very minor capacity right now, but I really hope that in the future, through whatever means, I'm able to, because I'm good with people, I know that. So
Great
if
with
I can
people.
just connect with more people, help them in whatever capacity I can, communicate with them, hear their stories if need be, and just be able to help them out in, whether it's professionally, whether it's in another capacity, that's something I really want to do. So let's see how I'm able to do that, but that's definitely one of my passions.
Absolutely. Yeah, you are the consummate communicator. Very smart, very well spoken, very engaging. So it's fun talking to you. Let
It's
me
fun
ask you
talking to
this.
you, Troy.
Well, thank you. What would you say to other companies considering getting a virtual professional with Savvital in the future?
I would say do it. I
Yeah.
would say just do it. Yes, because honestly, not to like brag, but I think that even if they're able to do, especially if you're someone who's very busy and you have a lot on your plate, right? Even
Hmm.
if they're able to take over one task, two tasks, however many tasks they're taking over, that's just one thing off your plate. Like I said, I remember Monica messaging on Teams once and saying, hey, you guys need to be proactive, do something for your clients this week, something of the sort. And I remember creating a task tracker for Scott. He hadn't asked me to do this, and doing it so he could, because I realized that, hey, he has so many salesmen and he doesn't know what's going on with them, what's going on with those projects. So how about I have weekly meetings with these people and I create a task tracker for each of them, and Scott can then just go through it, and that would just make his life easier, save
Oh,
time
that's
for
huge.
him. So I think if you hire somebody who's competent, and all of these virtual professionals that Savvital offers are, we make sure of that, you're going to have someone on your team who's going to care about saving your time, care about making things easier for you, and also care about adding to your business, adding to your growth. And what more does a person need, really, especially when you're a busy person?
Yeah, you nailed it. You nailed it. Time is money. And using Scott as an example, his time's worth $250 an hour. If he saves
Ah,
2 hours a day, that's 500 bucks
absolutely.
a day. A week, that's 2,500 bucks, which is less than he's paying a month right now. So he's
Mm,
netting way more by having an awesome person like
yep.
you. And you're saving him a lot more time than even 2 hours a day with the type of stuff you do. But that's a good way to put it. Time is money, and you're definitely saving people time, and that's exactly what Savvital is all about.
Mhm.
Um, If you could have, this is our last and final question, Verda. If you could have one superpower, what would it be and why?
Oh, um, okay. This is maybe a bit ironic because actually I have two answers for this. Um, the first one is a bit ironic because I just said that I'm good with people and I can communicate and stuff. But I would really like the superpower to be able to articulate what I'm thinking very well, regardless of who I'm talking to, what situation I'm in, especially more emotion packed situations. So that's one superpower I'd like to have,
Even
and I
be a
think that
better
is definitely a
communicator?
superpower.
I think that's already your superpower.
No, but honestly, sometimes you say the wrong thing, you mean something else. So I don't know why. That's something that I feel. And secondly, to be extremely, extremely patient, that is a goal in life. I want that superpower. I feel like people who can be patient during any situation are superheroes. Like they're amazing. If you can just be
Oh,
patient, keep your calm, keep your composure. I'd love to have that superpower.
I wish I had that too. I can't see you really flying off the handle and getting upset. Do you sometimes? Do you kind of lose your patience sometimes?
No, I don't, not at all. But I think what I mean is to just not get too emotional, and it doesn't
Emotionally.
necessarily have to be anger that you're feeling, but any emotion, not let it overpower you too much and be able to think clearly through it. I think I don't know. I gave two very deep answers. I think I should have come up with something more fun.
No, no, those are amazing answers. But the
Yeah.
funny thing is I think you kind of already have those superpowers, which makes you so
I'm working on it,
special.
Troy. I fooled you.
Yeah, right. Well, Verda, thank you so much for being on. We're lucky to have you in the company. I can't wait to meet you very soon.
Likewise.
And
Likewise.
Scott's very lucky too. He always brags about you and says how lucky he is to have you. So appreciate everything about you, Verda, and thanks again for being on the show.
Thank you for having me, Troy. And I just want to say again, you're one of the reasons it's so great to be here. Honestly, to have you leading us is an absolute joy. So thank you so much.
Well, that means the world to me. Thanks again, Verda.
Have a great day. Bye.
Yes, you too. Bye, everybody.